Yeah.
Welcome to the Wise Take DFS podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I am joined once again by two of Wise Take's finest DFS analysts. First up, we got our boy Johnny the Greek. You can find him on Twitter at GDaddy80. Johnny, my man, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. As you can see, the facial hair is pretty much gone, and the hair on top of my head's gone, and it's because this freaking NBA season is making me nuts. Pulled all that shit out, dude. No, I'm just joking. Got cleaned up for the nation. Just tilting a little bit here from this NBA slate, but other than that, things are good.
Oh man, we'll talk about tilting. Oh, I got some tilt. I won't even get into that because I don't want to get mad right now. Also joined by the boy genius, aka Mr. KamG333. You can find him on Twitter at KamG333. Cam actually wrote a Stacks article today, and it was actually nasty. It was actually really nasty. But we had a miscommunication on the publishing, so it never got up. Basically, he said a couple words to me. I did not know that he meant that his article was ready. I thought he was giving me a recommendation. And so I was just laughed. I was like, okay, yeah. And so, unfortunately, that was my bad. But yeah, Cam did write a sick-ass article. I mean, I think his top three stacks were like Toronto, the Braves, and like one other team that went the fuck off. So my bad on that. But glad to have you on the podcast, though, Cammy. And Cammy will be with us on the Y stream tomorrow for baseball. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, man. How we usually do it is I'll write an article and I'll text like CK or whoever's publishing it. I'll say like, articles in, and then the next thing I'll say is like the picture I want. So I texted him today and I said Stacks instead of Stacks article, and then I followed it up with Donaldson, and then like all of a sudden Lot came and I looked and like it wasn't published, and I texted ZK again. I was like, I think there was a miscommunication here. From what I meant was Stacks Donaldson was not to stack Donaldson. It was that my Stacks article was in, and I wanted Donaldson as a picture.
I thought he was telling me
Hey,
to stack Josh
what
Donaldson.
CK was doing for looking for, CK was looking for everybody named Donaldson to stack today, I guess, right?
Donaldson did have a really good game though.
I had like I think the top stack was Blue Jays, and then the second was like the Braves, and then third was like the Cardinals or something. So
it was a solid stack.
It was pretty good.
I mean, the only thing was like I took those stacks, but I missed on like one piece, like DeJong on my Cardinal stack missed, or if I had Matt Carpenter. So yeah, it seemed like I got there with those same. I had the same stacks we were on, just one player I missed with, you know.
Yeah, right. So it was a good night though. I mean, I think the process went well, and I was on for pretty much all the plays that hit today, so looks good. But tomorrow's nice because we have a 6-game early slate and a 5-game late slate, so you can kind of get 2 like full slates in the day, which is a lot of times what we can do for baseball. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely. It should be awesome. Got ourselves two slates, and it seems like the first one might be a little better than the second, so we'll cover both. Yeah, man, I'm excited to do it. But yeah, Donaldson did do well, so that was ironic and also really cool. So because I did play some Donaldson actually. Shout out to Paulie D, man. He was huge on Flair, the Flaherty kid from St. Louis, man. He had a monster game. Paulie was huge on that dude. And he came through big.
Did you see my Brewers?
Oh yeah, the Brew Crew. Yeah, Cam texted me. He's like, "Yo, man, I've been doing some research. I gotta show you some." I'm like, "All right, cool. I'll call you in 2 minutes." He was like, "Hold on, the Brewers are bulling." I was like, "All right, fair enough. Bull out, bro. Bull out."
2 outs. And Yelich comes up, hits a bomb, and then Braun follows it up for the win. So that was awesome, especially to beat the Cardinals. But
I'm telling you, Nation, you gotta sweat with Cam, Nation. Best sweat you'll ever have is to sweat with Cam. You will go crazy. You want the Johnny's making jokes. He got a haircut, nice clean haircut, by the way. He's making jokes with pointing. You want to pull your hair out? Sweat a game with Cam. He'll be pulling hair out from every which way. But no. It's all in good fun. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and dig in because we got 12 games, and after this, there's a golf show that has to be done for premium Y-Stick members. We got the Masters coming up, guys. The Masters. I don't know if y'all into golf, but if y'all into money, you might want to get into golf this weekend because there's some huge tournaments, including a Millie Maker over on DraftKings. So we want to get down on the get down. Cash and DFS would be steering the ship of Wiggy right after this. So in the meantime, we're going to start off with this first game we got here. Again, we're going to break down the early slate first. So if my understanding, the Atlanta game is not on the slate, correct? It starts with the 1 o'clock games. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. First game that would be is Tampa at New York. Blake Snell, the lefty of the Tampa Bay Rays, visiting Luis Severino, strikeout pitcher for the New York Yankees. Total is currently 8. New York, a 240 home favorite. Cam, I'm going to start with you real quick, man. What you got for us?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so the wind's blowing out 15 miles to left center here. Snell is a guy who handles lefties pretty well, but struggles versus right-handed hitting, which is kind of right up the power bats for the Yankees here. So you can look for a guy like Aaron Judge, Stanton, and Gary Sanchez to be in really good spots tomorrow against him, especially in these conditions. It's 57 degrees, so it's not the warmest, but with the wind blowing out in Yankee Stadium, that's a really, really good spot here for the Yankees. I'm probably going to play a lot of Yankees tomorrow against Snell. He's a power pitcher, and they have a lot of power bats, so I can just see it going pretty bad for him. You can take a look at Drury as well. He's been pretty hot here at the end of the season, or at the beginning of the season, and then Tyler Austin, too, at the bottom there. Maybe a nice value bet. I don't know what he is on FanDuel here. 2.8. Okay. It's all right. Not my favorite play. And then for the Yankees, I don't mind Severino as well. I have to take a look at what we have left on this early slate, but I think he's a really good option tomorrow against the Rays. I don't think they'll be able to hit him pretty well. So he has strikeout upside and everything. I'll just have to compare it to some of the other aces we have on the slate. It looks like we have Syndergaard and Kluber as well. So we'll have to compare there. But I like the Yankees bets tomorrow, which isn't like a thriller or anything, but no interest for Tampa.
All right. Johnny the Greek, how you seeing things on your first look?
Yeah, so with the wind and all that stuff, it's kind of weird because it's only an 8 over under. Which is going to end with the Yankees being a 242 favorite. This definitely tells me that Vegas doesn't think Tampa's going to do anything here against Severino. Severino's a good pitcher. I definitely like him tomorrow, with or without the wind here. This Tampa Bay offense is real weak, really, really soft. They're not a great hitting bunch here. The only guys that really are gonna really fear me is the speed guys. I'm not really worried about any power guys. I don't think they have any good power guys here. So, like maybe Smith here, maybe Maxie Smith or whatever his name is. He's the only guy I really worry about. I'm not worried about anybody else in this Tampa Bay team. Severino's definitely a lock and load for me tomorrow. And Snell is a reverse splits pitcher. He gives it up to right-handers. He also does give it up to left-handers. If you want to take a chance on Gary Sanchez tomorrow, he's got great BVP tomorrow. Just want to throw that out. He's batting 375. You know, he's a reverse. I'm saying he's a reverse splits pitcher too. I'm letting you know. So Didi Gregorius hits well against him too. Mm-hmm. So he gives it up to everybody. So Gary Sanchez is batting 375 against him with 2 home runs. But guys like Judge hasn't done anything against any of those other guys. So Sanchez has got good numbers against him. Gardner's okay, and Didi I think will be in a good situation tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with the bats on the Yankees side. They've just been red hot, just completely just crushing the ball. Blake Snell, I like him in pitchers' parks. I like him against teams that don't have a ton of power, and the Yankees are kind of the opposite of that. So, 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to left field, matched up against a bunch of power righties. I think I'll pass on Snell, but the Yankee bats do sound appealing. And while Severino will be a risk with that wind, obviously, as Johnny mentioned and Cam both mentioned, he's got a ton of K upside, so definitely in consideration there. Of course, we have some weather here. Looks like there's 60% chance of rain, 69% chance of rain, so we know the weather's been nasty in the Northeast. We've got to keep an eye on that. But they've already postponed one game, so I don't think they're too eager to postpone another so quickly. Let's move on over to the next game. We got the Philadelphia Phillies sending out Aaron Nola, visiting Thor, a.k.a. Noah Syndergaard. That's right. His name is Thor, a.k.a. Noah Syndergaard, not the other way around. of the New York Mets. Total is 7. The Mets favored by 150. $1.50 at home. What you got, Johnny? Start with you this time. Change it up.
So I think that I think both these pitchers are in play. It's a very low over and under. So I definitely think you can go there. You can stack it. The only thing is on DraftKings, if you do that, you can only get one. If one of the pitchers are in line for the win, you can get a win. But on the slate, that might be a good thing to do. I really don't like either offense tomorrow, but I think both pitchers are in play.
All right. Cammy, what you got here, bro?
Is Conforto gonna come back soon? I saw like an update that he was flying to New York.
Yeah, I think Thursday is when he's supposed to technically be activated off the DL. But yes, I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, that should be fun. But this would have been a good spot for him to come back. But
get Gonzalez out of that lineup. He sucks.
Oh my gosh. Man.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll have to see how many lefties the Mets roll out. They have Jay Bruce, but that's about it for a left-handed bat that scares me. So I think this is a pretty good spot for Nola. I usually don't pitch him in matchups where it's a left-handed heavy lineup. I know Atlanta tends to do that, but we'll have to see what the Mets do tomorrow. If they roll out a bunch of lefties, I won't have too much interest in Nola with the other options like Syndergaard and Kluber and guys like that on the slate. But if they roll out a right-handed heavy lineup, I'll definitely have interest in Nola as like a cheaper pay down spot. I think he's 8.5 on DraftKings. What is he? 8.5 on FanDuel as well. So that's a really good price for him, especially with the upside that he can come with. 16 miles per hour to right field. It looks like it's projected. So that's okay, but none of the bats really scare me for the Mets. I'm with Johnny. I like both the pitching options. Not going to attack Syndergaard on this slate. I think he's definitely in play tomorrow.
Yeah, no, definitely. Only issue is this game is starting at the same time as the Yankee game, and both games are obviously in New York. So another one we're going to have to monitor the weather. There's wind all over the place. I'm looking at it right now. There's wind all over the place. The next game we're going to talk about, there's wind, and then there's another game where it looks like there's some kind of wind blowing the opposite way. But 16-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to right field. We've got 69% chance of precipitation. So these are two situations where we like some pitchers here. There's three out of these first two games. We like 3 of the 4 pitchers going, and of course we're going to have to battle the weather there. But these 3 guys, in my opinion, I looked ahead a little bit, are fairly superior to the other options. I mean, the other options aren't bad, but like these are guys. I shouldn't say superior. I'm just saying these are just guys that people want to play. These are guys that people are going to want to play.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have to fight the weather. Maybe we get some lower ownership, but at the same time, when you do that, you're taking a huge risk. That we all know. Anyway, let's move it on over to the next game. Definitely think the pitchers are viable there. We got Danny Duffy, the lefty from the Kansas City Royals, visiting Daniel Norris, another lefty from the Detroit Tigers. Total is currently 8.5. Detroit, a $1.35 home favorite. Cam, back to you. I'm snaking it. You know what I'm saying? Snake drafting it.
I gotcha. This is interesting. So Daniel Norris is a reverse splits pitcher, so I could take lefties versus him. So we could take a guy like Moustakas. I don't mind that at all. The wind's blowing out 21 miles per hour to center, but it's 33 degrees projected outside. So it's going to be really cold, but also the wind is going to be blowing out really hard straight to center. So this is going to be really interesting how this plays out. On the other side, you have Danny Duffy, who we attacked on opening day. Like we said, we think he has something going on, injury possibly, his velocity's down. I think you can take shots on these right-handed bats. For Detroit, my favorite would be Miguel Cabrera, Nick Castellanos, possibly like a John Hicks or a Mikey Matuk. So I like those guys. Don't have a whole lot of interest in this game just because of the temperature and everything, although the wind is intriguing. But just both average, below average teams going up against each other. I think you could maybe take a one-off or a couple, maybe at most 2 bats from each team, but that would be it for me.
All right. Johnny, what you looking at over there, man? What do you see?
Yeah, so I don't like either one of these pitchers. It's really sad that Danny Duffy, what happened to him. I mean, he was pitching really good last couple seasons, and he just really, really fell off the face of the earth. So yeah, I can't play any of these pitchers. I like some pieces from both sides. I like Whit Merrifield. He's just a really good hitter. I like him where you can find him cheap. And on the other side, my favorite play, Machuca is okay, but I actually like Victor Martinez. And I know a lot of people don't like Victor Martinez, and they're probably going to think I'm crazy, but he actually hits him really, really well. So, and he profiles really, really well against him with a pitch type. So I'm going to go ahead and take some Victor Martinez tomorrow and some Whit Merrifield on the other side. I'm not interested in Moustakas tomorrow, but I can see the merit wanting to play him, but not for me tomorrow. Just 2 one-offs.
Yeah, this is definitely a spot where we're with 21 mile per hour winds projected to be blowing out to left field. If that remains, if that stays there, we definitely want to take a look at these bats. We do not want to ignore that. And this is Detroit. It's going to be freezing. It's going to be like 33 degrees, which is just crazy. To Cam's laughing at it. He's in Wisconsin. He's like 33 degrees, really? But yeah, in all seriousness, I definitely think we want to pay attention, especially like Johnny said, Detroit is loaded with righties. Historically, I know they lost Kinsler, they lost like Upton, they lost JD Martinez. Those are 3 really good lefty mashers, but they just have always seemed to have a thing with lefties. They still got Miggy, they still got Castellanos, like you said, Victor Martinez, Mickey Matuk. That's not exactly the most intimidating name, but it is a guy who hits lefties better than he hits righties. So I do think that we want to target this game for bats. And to be honest, with all the pitchers we talked about already, assuming you are going to pay up, and there's a couple other pitchers we're going to talk about if you want to pay up there as well, these bats are relatively cheap, at least on DraftKings. Like a lot of the bats on both sides are relatively cheap. So I think I'm interested. 2 lefties pitching in a park where 21 mile per hour winds are blowing out to left field. Sounds interesting. We'll see if that keeps up by tomorrow.
I think though with the cold window and if it's really cold out there, it actually affects the batters a lot. That's why I think the over and under is not really, really high right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's going to be that cold, to me, I mean, I'm probably going to just have a couple bats here. I don't think I'll go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's still higher than the first 2 games we discussed. It's higher than the Yankee game. It's higher than the Mets. Obviously, both of those games have weather as well. It's still 8.5. I get it. It's not 9. It's not 10. But I think we can find something here. But let's keep going. We might find something better, Johnny. Sure. We might find something better. I think Johnny's confident we will, and it makes me confident.
Oh, I know we will because I see some games right below it that are just delicious.
There we go. The transition is real. All right. Dylan Bundy of the Baltimore Orioles finally decided to wake up against Verlander. Visiting Dallas Keuchel, the lefty of the Houston Astros. Total is 8.5. Houston, a -200 home favorite. I forgot who just went last. Johnny, back to you.
Okay. So yeah, Houston's got the big total here. Dallas Keuchel. I have my concerns with Dallas Keuchel. Really, really heavy right-handed lineup here. But a lot of these right-handed bats in Baltimore actually hit right-handers better than they do left-handers. Keuchel's not a great pitcher in the beginning of the season. He's proved that in the last few years. I didn't like him in his last outing. I definitely think you can attack him today with some of these Baltimore bats. Probably one of the stacks I like the most on this whole slate. I think it's going to go under our own because of the name Dallas Keuchel. And then on Houston, I think Houston scored a bunch of runs today. I think that they're going to be popular as always. But I like some Dylan Bundy tomorrow as a low-owned GPP play. So my plan here is to stack the Orioles and play some Bundy in the early slate.
Boom. How about that? Cam, what you got, man?
Yeah, I don't really have any interest in Keuchel at all, especially with the other options on the slate for pitching. So I'm not going to go there. Like Johnny said, it's going to be projected a right-handed heavy lineup. So there's not really much strikeout upside here for Keuchel, who can handle lefties pretty well strikeout-wise. But right-handed hitters, he strikes out guys below 20% of the time. So not a huge upside guy versus right-handers, especially at that price. So I'm not going to go there. I think you can probably take a look at the righties here for Baltimore. They'll definitely go lower owned, but I don't know if they're going to be my favorite. I think you could take cheap options like Beckham or Mancini tomorrow for Baltimore, and I think those would probably be my two favorite plays. On the other side, I don't think I'll have a whole ton of interest in Houston if Caleb Joseph is catching, but if he's not, or sorry, I'm thinking of Gossman. Sorry, it's too late. Freaking tired, man.
Too late. You effed up, bro. Yeah. That's it. It's over. It's over. Slate breaker. Done.
Yeah, I'm not. Slate breaker.
And now we eat.
I'm not gonna have a whole lot of interest in. I'm not gonna have a whole lot of interest in Houston. I think Bundy's gonna be a better pitcher this year. I think near the end of the year he figured out to be successful he's gonna have to throw a slider a majority of the time. So this is kind of a game where especially if Houston's gonna be popular, I could see myself not going there. With Bundy, what is he, 6'7" on DraftKings and 7'7" on FanDuel? He's definitely more of a SP2 option on DraftKings for me than he is on FanDuel there. But once again, Houston's a team that doesn't strike out a whole bunch, so I don't know if there's a whole ton of upside there for Bundy, but I don't mind the play if you're trying to get a little contrarian on the early slate.
I had two more things I want to say really quick about this. As long as as long as Caleb Joseph's the catcher tomorrow, I like him tomorrow with Bundy and the sliders. He's been throwing that really well. And everybody, just note, Danny Valencia day is tomorrow, so you need to play Danny Valencia. He owns Keuchel. Just play him. You win all the money. He's cheap. He's like $3,000.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know that last year, for instance, Baltimore was really bad against lefties, and they've made a couple moves here to try to fix that. Tim Beckham was one of them. Tim Beckham was one of the guys that they got towards the end of the season to try to help them combat that a little bit. And so I'm very interested to see how they do this year against lefties. So Keuchel is I don't want to throw Keuchel away just because I know the history is there. I understand that Valencia is here now, and he does have really good BVP against Keuchel. I respect Tim Beckham, his power against lefties, but I'm curious to see how they do in the long haul. So maybe I'll have a little sprinkle just in case, especially if we're going to be worried about some of the weather in the first two New York games, because there's a couple other pitchers that we can look at. There's a few that we can look at, of course, but one of them's in a hitter's park during the day, and then, of course, the other one has a matchup with a team that historically doesn't strike out all that much. So I don't know if I want to just take him and just throw him away if the first two games are going to be dealing with weather. But I totally get it. Baltimore did go out and get some pieces. I think they recognized that they were bad against lefties last year, and they went out and tried to correct that. So give them props. But right now they got to correct everything. They had a good game today, but they got to wake up because the first couple games was ridiculous. But they looked good today against Verlander. They did. Let's move it on over to the next one. We've got Alex Wood. That's right. Who's got Wood? We've got Wood. Alex Wood, the lefty from the Los Angeles Dodgers, visiting Patrick Corbin of the Southpaw from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Total is 8.5. Arizona a plus 105 home underdog. Kamington. What you got?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be pitching Wood tomorrow. I'd never really pitch Wood. He doesn't go too deep into games, and this Arizona team's been pretty hot here to start the year off. At Arizona, it's just not going to be a place that I want to attack them. I think Kershaw went 6 and gave up 2 earned, so it wasn't a terrible start for him, but they're a team that's been battling at the plate, and they've been putting a bunch of good at-bats together early on in the season, so not a place that I'm going to be playing Wood tomorrow. On the other end, Patrick Corbin is somewhat interesting to me. At home, going up against the Dodgers, this team struggled early on in the year. This year, I think they put up maybe 1 or 2 runs again today. They got shut out by Johnny Cueto early again, so they're a team that has kind of been struggling. I think they went to extras that one game, which got them up to 7 or 8 runs. But other than that, they haven't really put up a bunch of runs. They're going to get a lefty-on-lefty matchup here for their 2 stud bats in the lineup, Seager and Bellinger. I know Kike and a couple other guys like Forsythe hit lefties really well, but that doesn't scare me too much here. I think Corbin is a pretty good GPP option tomorrow, just at first look. I'll have to dig into it more, and we can get into it on the wide stream tomorrow. But first look, I kind of like Corbin. I'll have interest in him as a cheaper pitcher if you want to go there. And then I think there's merit to playing a couple of these Diamondback bets just because of what I've mentioned before. They're at home and they've been hot, so I don't mind taking a stab at them on a slate where they might be lower on going up against Wood.
All right, Johnny, what you got here, man?
Yeah, so some things we should never say on a YouTube show. Pitching Wood, throwing Wood, playing with Wood. I don't know. So we got to get those out of our vocabulary. But other than that,
you don't want to know
pass on the Wood. How about that?
Paulie gave me a different name. But, those of you watching the live stream, you probably know that you can blank anything.
Oh yeah, I got it.
You can blank.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pass on the. I'm gonna pass on the Wood tomorrow for sure. I think Patrick Corbin's okay. I do have some concerns with him tomorrow with his Dodger lineup, especially if they're gonna go some right-handed heavy. Probably not really too interested in him. But I probably prefer him over the Wood. But I definitely think you can definitely play a bunch of these guys here. You can definitely go and play Goldschmidt. I think he's firmly in play. AJ Pollock. I wouldn't do a full stack here. I just do a couple one-offs. I think those are the two main guys. And then I think on the Dodgers side, it really depends on who's going to be catching. I like Austin Barnes probably a little bit better in this matchup. Grandal has good numbers in the past. That was when he was a better right-handed hitter. He seems to be going away from being a good right-handed hitter, much better left now. So definitely would prefer to go there. And I like Logan Forsythe if he gets high up in the order here. So I can go there and maybe a little bit of Matt Kemp. But no full stacks for me here. I just like a couple of the one-offs there. And that's really it for me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. David Miller, Wise Take member, D. Millie. I see you in the YouTube chat. Do me a favor. I know you're sweating right now. He's in 30th right now on a FanDuel contest with 3 Padres left. I'm just curious. I want to know how you looking right now. So give us an
Hopefully
update.
he had that catcher.
He did. Oh, you mean the dude? Wait, the catcher or the dude that hit the 3 jacks?
Or yeah, not the catcher, but the dude who's
second base, third base, and shit. Yeah, he did. I know he's got him. That's why I want to know because the dude just hit his 3rd home run a little bit ago. So give me a little update in the YouTube chat. In the meantime, let me give my take on this game. Yeah, I think that Corbin is definitely viable. The Dodgers, until they start hitting lefties, and listen, I had the Dodgers the other night. It was last night, so not this night. So I've been on a little bit of a heater with the donkeys, man. So over the last 4 days, right? 4 days, I've come in 13th in one donkey, 18th last night, and then today I came in 6th in the early slate donkey. So I'm getting close. And last night, I was sweating out with the Dodgers, right? So we went to extra innings. I got Bellinger. I got Grandal. I got all these guys. See, Arizona brought in this lefty. And just watching the Dodgers try to hit that dude, I know it was extra innings. It was painful. It was they really have a lefty issue. They have an issue with lefties. So this is like a hedge game for me. I'm going to play some Corbin, and I'm going to play some Dodger bats just in case. And I think that's something that I've been trying to preach to the Wise Take members, like baseball, that take advantage of baseball. There's a lot of variance. How do you fight variance? By hedging. That's how you fight variance. So I think this is a perfect game of an example of that, because you can see a scenario. Alex Wood has a ton of K upside. I don't care what ballpark you're in. If the guy can't hit your pitch, you're not going to do anything with it. So these are 2 teams with 2 pitchers that have tremendous K upside. And they're also 2 teams with a lot of power that strike out a lot in a big-time hitter's park. So this is the perfect example. This is a game that I think I'm going to practice some hedge life. And Alex Wood, he's the one that maybe I could pass on, possibly. I mean, he's coming off a great game. He looked pretty damn good against the Giants. I got to give the man his props. But that was the Giants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway. Let's move over to this last game here. We got last game of this slate. Then we move on to the main slate. We got the Cleveland Indians and Corey Kluber visiting Tyler Skaggs, the lefty from the Los Angeles Angels. Total is currently 7, and the Angels are $1.25 home underdogs. Johnny, what you got?
Yeah, so Kluber's the guy I'm gonna go with here. He should be able to maneuver his way around here. There's a couple bats here that definitely you should fear. Mike Trout, little Zach Cozart, even Upton. But yeah, I'm not afraid. I think he's got the best chance for a win here. He's a 154 favorite in the Angels ballpark, which is a big ballpark. He should definitely be able to suppress home runs. It's not windy here. It's pretty good. So I definitely think this is a good game to target. And then I like all the Indian right-handers. against Skaggs. I think they're all in play.
Man, Skaggs is a perfect name to blank. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Cam, what you got here, man?
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, this Angels team's been red hot. Going up against Kluber, it's scary to play Kluber against them just because of how hot they've been. But at the same time, it's Corey Kluber. He's got filthy stuff, so I'm comfortable playing him on either site tomorrow, especially on a short slate. I think he definitely has potential to be the highest scoring pitcher tomorrow for sure. So I don't mind him here, although the Angels don't strike out a bunch. But it's not the best matchup, but I just think like he's such a good talent, it doesn't really matter. And then for the Indian side, I don't mind taking like the righties, like Johnny said, versus Skaggs here. It's not my favorite spot, but I think they're definitely in play. You could take a guy like Encarnacion or Jose Ramirez or Lindor, probably my favorites. And then Yonder Alonso's cool too. He's been hot. I know it's lefty on lefty, but he could get a couple bullpen ABs or something like that. So I don't mind him either.
And Brandon Guyer's got amazing BVP, just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely interesting. Kluber is a monster. I'll take
him. You
him.
don't even BVP, do you, Johnny?
What was that?
I'm just kidding. You seem like a huge BVP guy.
I'm not. Everybody seems to be into it, so I'm just mentioning it. Yeah.
I thought you asked if he was.
I'm not a big BVP guy.
I thought you were asking.
I'm in between. I'm in between actually. We and Cash had this conversation about.
So you go both ways.
So she seems like. Yeah, pretty much. No, it seems like the nation. Most of the guys I've talked to are big on the BVP, so I mentioned that. But yeah, not for me. I think BVP it's just if it's there, you want to. It should point out an outlier and for you to look into why. And normally it's a certain pitch type or something like that, or something that the pitcher's done in the past, or that's favoring the hitter. So I always look at that and like dive more into it. And if it balances out and makes sense, then I'll play it. But sometimes it's just a draw, you know.
You know, just going back just a second to when Johnny was talking. Did anybody realize that Johnny just gave Zach Cozart the sickest rap name ever? He just called him Lil Zach Cozart. Does that not sound like the illest rapper that ever walked the face of the earth? Like, that's such a sick rap name, Lil Zach Cozart. I mean, I'm saying, like that is nice. I like that. We gotta find a way to get that to this man. Maybe Cozart raps. We gotta find a way to get this nickname to that man, because that was just glorious. But yeah, Corey Kluber, man. I don't care if the team don't strike out. It's Corey Kluber. I'm gonna have me some Corey Kluber. The guy is just got elite stuff, and he's gonna see a bunch of righties, which we know he's lethal against. And as far as Tyler Skaggs, I don't think I'm gonna go to. I don't necessarily know that I'm gonna play Skaggs, but I don't think I'm gonna go too heavy on the Indians, because the Indians were another one of those teams that last year, their power wasn't there quite as much against lefties. Like Jose Ramirez, E5, those guys, sure. But they also got rid of Austin Jackson, one of the guys that they were bringing in to go against those lefties. So now they're down to Brandon Guyer. And I played Brandon Guyer a lot last year. Every time they were against a lefty, because he was a platoon guy. He only played against lefties. And that dude burned me every time. Every time. And I thought he was good, because when he was on Tampa the year before, he seemed like he was decent. Once he went to the Indians last year, he just sucked. But yeah, I'm with you guys for the most part. Kluber for me. Not too interested in, honestly, either of the bats, but at the same time, I don't know, man. I really don't want to. I don't know if I could pull the trigger on a guy like Skaggs. I got to dig in on that, because he's looked pretty. I know. He's looked pretty rough at times. Yeah. And on top of that, Cleveland's just, I don't care, lefty or righty, they just don't strike out a ton. So it's just, unless it's a dominant elite pitcher, I really don't like to take guys against them. All right. So that's the early slate. Did that for y'all. I'm going to put a timestamp on this. 34-32. Somebody remember that. 34-32. In the meantime, we are going to break down this main slate now. Flipping the script. It looks like the first game we got is going to be the Chicago White Sox with Carson Fulmer visiting Aaron Sanchez of the Toronto Blue Jays. Total here is 9. Toronto a 200 home favorite. This is interesting. Johnny, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, so I have some interest actually in a little bit of Aaron Sanchez here. Not a ton, but definitely I like him against all these right-handers here in Chicago, so I can go take a shot on him there. And I think that this Toronto offense stack is definitely in play tomorrow again against Fulmer. Not intimidated by Fulmer, so definitely no real interest in Chicago here. But I could definitely take shots on these Toronto guys.
For sure. Cam, how you living?
Yeah, I've actually started researching for the main slate, so I have like 2 games done. But I have interest in Aaron Sanchez tomorrow. He's an extreme ground ball pitcher. He's a guy who like has talent, so he's just got to put it together. I think this is a good spot for him to kind of get it together here against a free swinging White Sox team. He'll keep it low, should limit some of the damage that this White Sox team does. The White Sox are a lot scarier when they're facing a left-handed pitcher. So Aaron Sanchez is a righty, obviously. The only guy that I'm really scared of tomorrow for the White Sox would be a guy like Yoán Moncada. I think he's actually a really good play on tomorrow's slate if you're not going to be playing Sanchez. But although I do have interest in Sanchez, I think he can pay off, and he's really cheap on both sides. So I don't mind him tomorrow as like a GPP SP2 option. And then on the other side, I like the Blue Jays bats. Obviously, they have a high run total tomorrow, 5.3 implied runs. They're at home again. I think you can take shots on the left-handed hitters, but the right-handed hitters still grade out pretty well. Smoke, Granderson are probably my 2 favorite, but I think Donaldson, Solarte, Grichuk are all in play as well. So I think that's about it for me on this game, though.
Yeah, Aaron Sanchez definitely a viable option at least on DraftKings and SP2. He is 7.8, so the price is decent. We know this is a guy that had upside a couple years ago, but he hasn't really had it since. I do believe that he kind of played way over his head in at least that 1 year where he was putting up like 50s and 60s every day. It was a couple years ago, I think, but I don't expect that kind of performance. But we know that the White Sox do struggle against righties. We really don't like to take them against lefties. They're projected for 3.8 runs, so Vegas seems to be on a similar side to us. And of course, Carson Fulmer, kind of a bullpen dude. This is, in my opinion, basically a bullpen game we're getting from the White Sox. So I'll take some Blue Jays, but again, I don't know if I'll go too heavy, because actually I've seen this dude Fulmer have some games where he was able to limit some of his hard contact. So definitely a spot I want to attack. I want me some Blue Jays, especially because we know the Blue Jays typically play better against righties. But I don't think I'm going to go over the top. I want to see what else is out there. Let's see.
Yeah, he actually doesn't give up a lot of hard contact at all. I think it's just a thing where he gives up so many fly balls that when you're giving up that many fly balls, I think a few just happen to go over the fence.
Actually, it's true. There's a stat for that, the home run to fly ball ratio. You can use that stat to kind of tell you where a guy should be. If a guy's got a fly ball rate, if he's got a ground ball rate of 30%, let's say, so he's like an extreme fly ball pitcher, and his home run to fly ball ratio is 7. Home runs are coming. Eventually some of those balls are landing over that fence, because that number should
coming.
Yes, that number should be closer to 12. So, let's move it over to the next game, gentlemen. We got Felix Hernandez, formerly known as King Felix, but he's still decent, I guess. Visiting Johnny Cueto, coming off a really good performance. Almost no hit the Dodgers. I think it was the Dodgers. The San Francisco Giants. Total is 7.5. San Francisco, $1.25 home favorite. Cammy, over to you.
Yeah, this game's interesting because both teams are implied for really low run totals. So Vegas seems like they're kind of on the pitching side here. I was trying to figure out what games we're gonna get out of both these pitchers, because we were talking before. Cueto's a guy who last year gave up a bunch of fly balls. He was good for about a home run and a half per game to each side of the plate. Doesn't grade out terribly versus each handedness of hitters as well. So he's kind of tough to get a read on. He pitched well against the Dodgers. Going to be pitching at home in a really big ballpark. So this is a spot where you're going to want to play Cueto rather than on the road. I think that definitely helps him out. This Mariners team isn't a team that I'm really scared of pitching wise, but once again, I don't think Cueto's a huge appealing target for me on this slate, especially on FanDuel if I only had to pick one. But I think he's in play tomorrow. don't mind it. And then on the other side, Felix Hernandez is kind of in the same boat. Doesn't give up a whole bunch of damage, grades out decent versus each side, but tends to give up like a home run or two a game. So I think you can pick and choose your bats in these games, and you could potentially get like 1 or 2 home runs out of each of these guys, and it'll depend if it's a solo shot or like a 3-run home run to see if your day will be made or not. But I don't have a huge priority of like stacking either of these teams, but I think it's viable to take like a couple one-off bats versus each of the guys, and you could take a shot on these pitchers as well, just because they don't grade out terribly versus each hand.
All right. Johnny, what you got here, man?
Yeah, so truth be told, I'm a Giants fan.
Oh, the truth comes out.
Fan.
Okay.
So, lifelong. So, it's kind of sad, though, because we go from these like great World Series years to just trash.
Yeah,
but
I'm finding so much about you on this show. Like, I've known you for how long already, and I'm finding so much. And I've found out now that you go both ways. I'm finding out that you're a Giants fan. Like, there's so many things. You're very good at giving rap nicknames. Like, wow. The Greek is more talented.
The nation made that. I mean, I think the nation's made some changes, like all those like threesome offers and like all different kinds of things, and then you tipping me out and all these different things. So I think it's your fault, CK. I think that's what it is. Let's be real.
In the end, isn't it always my fault? That somehow it's my fault.
It is, dude. It comes out, yeah.
I get that a lot.
No, but really, so my breakdown here is I have some interest in Johnny Cueto. I'm not a fan of Johnny Cueto by any means. I definitely like him in here. With Nelson Cruz not going to be in this lineup, I definitely think that it's going to weaken it. San Francisco is a big ballpark, very big ballpark, hard to hit a home run. There's not a ton of power in this lineup here for Seattle. You know, there's a couple pieces that you have to worry about. You always have to worry about Robinson Cano, obviously. Kyle Seager can get a hold of one, but other than that, like I'm not really afraid of the power here. Left-handed power is your issue here in San Francisco. So that's the one thing I'm worried about. On the other side here for Felix, you got to play Joe Panik tomorrow if you're going to play anybody from San Francisco. He's been their best hitter. Before this game that we just had against Seattle earlier today, Panik was the only source of San Francisco's runs. He scored both their runs on home runs. He's batting first in the lineup. He's in a great spot here. And then I think we have to look at what the Giants are going to throw out there. If they throw out a really left-handed heavy lineup, which they can because they have a lot of left-handers, like if they take out Longoria and they put in Pablo Sandoval, who's like basically redefined his career, and this spring he's looked really good. It just adds a little bit more problems for Felix. But the problem is, as a whole with San Francisco, is they're not an offensively talented team. So I think you can actually play both guys here. As Cam was saying, you're just worried about getting some base runners on, and can they limit it to a home run or a little limited damage here on a big bomb here. So really it comes down to these guys as if we think that they can limit the damage and not get a bunch of runners on. So for me, I think I would prefer Cueto and probably pass on Hernandez. And I don't think I'll go with anybody on this Seattle side because there's no Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, man. Nelson Cruz obviously is the obvious big power bat they're missing, but they're also missing my boy, man, Mike Zunino. Man, I love that dude, man. That dude's got mega power, and when him out the lineup, that just sucks. Like, it really sucks. And this, you know what this game what this game screams to me. And I could be wrong. It's a first look, but this game screams mediocre. That's just what it screams to me. I see mediocre performances from Felix, mediocre performances from Cueto. These are two teams that aren't, right now at least, not the best offensively. Again, Seattle is missing Nelson Cruz is a pretty big deal. And in a ballpark that favors pitchers, so we got two teams that are struggling offensively and don't strike out a lot. It just seems like mediocre everywhere. So,
and do you think each pitcher has enough strikeout upside tomorrow? I don't think so.
That's the problem.
I don't think they're leading. I don't think those are guys like that are screaming out to me, I have to play them,
Right. This is just matchups there. Again, these are two teams that don't really strike out a ton. And the only benefit you have is that it's obviously in a pitcher's park. So it screams mediocre. It just does, man. It just does. Real quick, so Nation member who we talked about, he just tweeted me. He found me on the Twitter machine. He must have left the YouTube chat. But David Miller is currently sweating. I think he's winning like $4,500 right now. on FanDuel in baseball. So let's get him.
Nice.
Let's get him. He stacked up them Padres. He stacked up them Padres. He did. Good luck, man. Good luck. And hopefully the nation's sweating with you somewhere, man. Hop in a chat or something. Maybe some guys will sweat it out with you. I always love doing that. But, when I'm not busy, I've been really busy lately, but hopefully that'll change soon. NBA and NBA, you know what it is. You guys know what it is. MLB and NBA together, it's fun, it's awesome, but it is work. It is real work. It is like, whew. Anyway, let's move on over to the next game. We got St. Louis visiting Milwaukee. Carlos Martinez, a.k.a. C-Mart, visiting Jaules Chassin. We're going to finally find out if the home split is the thing about being home or was it really Petco Park? Because when he went to the Padres, he sucked ass. So let's see. If he pitches well in Milwaukee in the hitter's park, then we know he just likes to be at home. Total currently is 9. Milwaukee, a plus 110 home underdog. Johnny, my man, back to you.
Stack them all up tomorrow. This is a stack 'em game. I don't want to play any Carlos Martinez tomorrow at this high price. With all the lefties that Milwaukee's going to throw at him. Carlos Martinez is terrible against lefties. You can stack up all the lefties against them from the Brewers. And I think on Cardinals, stack them all up against Chassin. Chassin is not a great pitcher. Moving to this hitter's park in Milwaukee, definitely I think both teams are stackable. No pitchers for me.
All right, I'm with it. Yeah, man. Right now, D-Millie87, that's his fan username. You can see got the owl logo, the cool owls up top. You see it looks so nice when it's at the top. He's in 4th place right now in the Grand Slam contest on FanDuel. 4,500 is what he's winning. He is currently 21 points out of 1st place, which would be 10 grand. So we sweating with you, bro. We rooting for you. Let's do it. Do it for the nation. No pressure. No pressure. Cam, what you got, bro?
That'd be awesome, man. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Now we eat. Cam, say it.
Now, you know what the great thing is with sweats, though, for DFS than any other thing, like if you were like playing a sport, like actually playing it, like once you lock your lineups in, there's literally nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's like all out of
your control. It's out of your control completely. So like
it's never your
fault.
It's like for instance today,
it's not. Yeah.
I would have won $6 grand if Justin Bohr did not get thrown out at home, but I had no control over that. He got thrown out at home, so it wasn't my fault. It was his fault for being an. Exactly. I won't even get into that. But exactly.
It was the umpire for calling him out when he was probably safe.
Yeah, he was definitely out. It was horrible. Yeah? He was definitely out.
He can't run. He's not very fast. No, yeah.
Watching him. If you want to,
you should have bored him over there.
If you want to see a replay, Wig Splitter tweeted me a GIF. It's what to me it looks pretty spot on to the replay, but it's not the exact thing, but it looks spot on to me.
I saw that.
You saw that? Yeah. Go check it out on my Twitter if you guys want to see it. It's on the page. You know where it is. But anyway, Cam, what you got for this game, bro?
So I don't have any interest in Chassin. I think you can definitely play all the Cardinals bats tomorrow. They usually always hit very well in Miller Park, and just in general against the Brewers, they usually put up runs. That seems to be how it goes. So I like the Cardinals bats tomorrow for sure. They seem to be some of my favorite on this small main slate tomorrow. I think they'll probably, or they should be popular. If they're not, then I'll even like them more. But I think you can play all those guys over there. Chassin is going to be going in from like Petco, which is the best pitcher's ballpark, to Milwaukee, which is like the worst pitcher's ballpark pretty much outside of Coors and Chase. So I definitely like St. Louis bats tomorrow. And then on the other side, I think we'll have to look into the umpires tomorrow. But I think if they have like a hit or a pitcher friendly ump tomorrow, I could see some merit in playing Carlos Martinez. I know they'll roll out like a lefty heavy-ish lineup with Thames should probably be in the lineup and VR will be in the lineup tomorrow, but you'll still get guys like Thames and VR who are lefties, but they still strike out at a really high percentage-wise. They're kind of boomer bust guys. VR hits better from the left side, but still strikes out probably about 30% of the time. Thames as well. So I think there's upside for Carlos Martinez here, and we've seen games from the Brewers that they can just put up like 1 or 2 runs. They weren't really doing much today either, besides that final inning where they walked it off. But I have a little bit of interest in Carlos Martinez. If it's a batter-friendly umpire, I think you can definitely load up on Brewers tomorrow. So really like the Cardinals, and then it's kind of dependent on the ump for me if I'm going to have interest in C-Mart or not.
C. Mart. Johnny the Greek, what do you think?
Yeah, so I already gave you my breakdown.
Yeah. My bad.
But I can tell you again, just stack both sides up. Don't play the pitchers.
Yeah, you don't like Seymour, huh? Interesting. I think is Seymour going to be the chalk?
No, I don't. None of this ballpark.
You think Seymour's going to be the chalk on this slate so far?
You know what? If he was cheap, I would have a look at him. I'd take a look.
No, I'm saying, do you think he's going to be the chalk? Is what I'm asking.
Oh, he'll be chalky, like chalkier than he should be for sure. Just because of the name, and then people still think of Milwaukee not as a good team, But if this is a home game, completely different story for me. I just don't like the spot in the situation, and I don't like what Milwaukee can throw out there. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, Thames can strike out a bunch, but they a lot of bats that can go. Like, Travis Shaw's a really good hitter. He's a professional hitter. I like him. I like Braun still against him, too. So there's a lot of guys that like him. I just, at his price at 10-2 and the form he's been in already this year, I don't like him. I'd rather just pay down.
No, I got you.
Like John Gray or something coming up here.
Yeah, I was going to say we got a couple other pitchers that are interesting as well. Let's move it on over to the next game. We got Doug Fister. No, Patio Joe. Every time I say his name, I think of Patio Joe. What does he always say? Doug Fister. I barely even know her or something. Like, I don't know what he's always. Shout out to Patio Joe. Speaking of which, I think we might get to see some Patio Joe tomorrow. At least the members might. Maybe. We'll see. But the members only, though. You gotta pay for him. Patio Joe. Come on. Patio Joe on a Y stream. Baseball. Gold. So we'll see, maybe. Doug Fister visiting Sean Manaea, the lefty from the Oakland Athletics. Total is 8.5. Oakland, a $1.50 home favorite. Johnny, back to you, because I know for sure you have not given me your take on this game yet.
I am not, for sure. Yeah, I have some interest in Sean Manaea tomorrow. Not crazy, but a little bit of interest in him. I think for me, I think Doug Fister's an improved pitcher. I don't really want to stack against him. I know he had his moments last year where he didn't look good, but he kind of figured things out a little bit. In his last start, he had a pretty decent start. He kind of figured things out. So I don't know if I really want to stack him, but I think you can definitely take some plays off here. You can take a look at the power here like Davis, and I think some lefties like Matt Joyce is in play. Maybe Simeon at the top, but for me, not going to stack it. Just a couple one-offs, and then on Texas, Joey Gallo. I think you can play him, even though it's a lefty. I think he just got so much power. I love this guy. I think Adrian Beltre is always in play. Righty or lefty, it doesn't matter. And then maybe Elvis Andrus for shortstop, but that's really it. I mean, I'm not in love with Texas tomorrow. I'm not really in love with the A's lineup. I like a little bit of Manaea.
All right.
A little Manaea in my life.
Manaea in your life. Cam, what do you think of Manaea and company?
Yeah, I have a little bit of interest in Manaea tomorrow. He's going to get a Texas team that strikes out a lot on the road in a big ballpark at Oakland with a cooler temperature here. So I don't mind that play as like a SB2 option. I don't think I'd go there on FanDuel where you only get one pitcher, but I could see going there on DraftKings where you have to pick two. And then on the other side, I agree with you. Fister's not a guy I really stack against. I like to kind of take like a couple like one-offs against him, preferably left-handed bats, which is a really good matchup here against Oakland for lefties. So like a guy like Matt Joyce or Matt Olson would be guys I would be targeting tomorrow, but just as one-offs, not like a complete stack here. Matt Olson being my favorite.
All right, I'm with it, man. Some of these young lefty A's guys are appealing. I don't think I want to stack either team, but I do think maybe a couple one-offs from these A's are interesting against Fister. And then, Manaea, man, definitely interesting. The Rangers have been striking out at a pretty crazy clip, and most of the guys that you're afraid of are left-handed. So I know, don't get me wrong, they got Andrus, they got Beltre, but I think, who was I thinking of? There was somebody I was talking about with my brother-in-law today. He was third base, and Beltre was actually cheaper than this guy. I think it was the A's.
Drew Robinson.
Was it?
about Drew Robinson?
I don't know. I thought it was somebody from the.
He's a third baseman. He was really cheap on FanDuel today.
No. I'm saying like this, like Beltre is 3-3. Like that's borderline disrespectful.
Yeah.
I mean, he's played like it. Don't get me wrong. So yeah, this is another situation. I'll play some Manaea, but then I'd probably hedge with a little Texas, just because we know some of these guys have an ability. Like Chirinos has double dong upside. Andres and Beltre, I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with them. Those guys are just hard to predict, man. Andres just became, a pretty good hitter overnight last year. He just literally just woke up and said, you know what, I feel like hitting today. And he's been on a tear. Then, Beltre has been struggling. So, yeah, I like Manaea a lot, but I probably will hedge with the Rangers just because they have the power. But we know Texas is striking out a ton once again this year. Let's move on over to this last game of the main slate, and then we will play some Dong Watch, a.k.a. Watching of the Dongs. Last game here, John Gray of the Colorado Rockies visiting Clayton Richard, the lefty from the San Diego Padres. Total is 7.5. San Diego, a plus 105. Home underdog. Cam, going back to you for the last game. What you got?
Yeah, I definitely have interest in John Gray tomorrow against this San Diego team. I think he's probably, pure talent-wise, one of the best pitchers on this, early slate, or this main slate here with the, 5 games that we have going. So I respect him as a pitcher. He's going to be pitching in a really pitcher-friendly ballpark against a team that can strike out and chase a lot of pitches. And he should be able to not get blown up in this spot, specifically with the pitches that he throws and everything. And he could have a strikeout upside game here as well. So I don't mind him. He's probably going to be a top 3 option for me tomorrow, just right now off first glance. And then off the other side, let me pull him up. I don't have a huge interest in playing Clayton Richard. I've watched him pitch against the Brewers. I think he limited the Brewers pretty well, and I kind of expected that in that matchup, but I could see Colorado kind of handling him tomorrow. They've been pretty hot here to begin the year as well. They get a big ballpark, but that also opens up room for balls in the gap and things like that, which is a plus for hitters here. So I don't mind Charlie Blackmon, lefty on lefty. He's kind of a equal splits guy. And then you can look at guys like Arenado and Trevor Story, who obviously are really good hitters versus lefties, and then Ian Desmond and Iannetta, Ian Desmond's been playing pretty well here to begin the season. So I could definitely get some interest in some Rockies bets tomorrow versus Clayton Richard.
All right. Johnny, what's your take here?
Yeah, first of all, I hope this San Antonio Clipper game can go to overtime, because if so, I might win a bunch of late slate stuff.
Uh-oh, the sweat is real.
Because I just made a run here.
The nation is sweating everywhere,
so we'll
bro.
see.
Literally, the nation is sweating.
Yeah,
there's sweat all over my desk right now from everybody sweating. I mean, it's just insane, man. It's insane. I'm about to break out the sweat rag in a minute.
It started with you, my friend. It started with you. So
again, I'm blaming me again. It always starts with me. I always blame CK.
Exactly. It started with you. Hey, but that's a compliment. You should take it for what it's worth.
I do. I was just joking. I do.
Dude, that is awesome that dude freaking is 4th right now on the slam with 70 points from a 1% owned Villanueva or whatever.
Baby. That Padres stack.
Amazing.
I mean, that was the key. That
was my favorite stack today too. I just didn't get everybody in that I wanted, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I played Renfro. He didn't really come up too much today.
He disappointed me, but
he did. So yeah. So for me, I like John Gray a lot tomorrow against these Padres. Huge ballpark upgrade for him. He's a good pitcher. It's amazing how good of a pitcher is playing Colorado. Imagine his breaking stuff's gonna be able to break tomorrow, not hang like it does in Colorado. So definitely like him tomorrow. I think it's a good spot for him. I like Trevor Story. I like Arenado. Arenado's been kind of cold, but I like DJ LeMahieu for cash games tomorrow. I think he's in a great spot. So I think you can definitely play these righties here. Charlie Blackmon definitely been improved against left-handers. I think you can go there for sure. The only problem I have here is I don't think this is going to be a stack 'em game. Clayton Richard's going to limit the damage here. And we can see that by the totals here being 7.5. I think that if you're going to play the Rockies, I think you can maybe play two in one lineup, and then I think sprinkle him in your lineups throughout are probably a good idea. I don't think I'd go a stack kind of a situation tomorrow.
Yeah, man. John Gray, man. I love that dude. He's going to get a matchup with the Padres. In this ballpark, I am digging it. I'm actually very, very surprised at the line, and that kind of scares me. Why would this line only be 115? It's John Gray. He's one of literally like the best pitcher the Rockies have, and he's going against Clayton Richard. It's kind of strange that they're only minus 115. I'm curious to see which way that line moves, but I would imagine the public would be all over the Rockies. So interesting to know. But anyway, guys, let's play some Dong Watch here. Before we play some Dong Watch, I'm gonna remind everybody, if you haven't already, go over and check us out at whitestate.com for more fire MLB DFS content. Right now, we got multiple things going on, multiple sports. We got the Masters coming up for golf. We've got NBA still rocking and rolling, and we do playoffs as well. We got MMA this week. We've got NASCAR. We've got so much going on. It's just a great time to be a part of a daily fantasy community. So come rock with the best of us, man. If you're into this MLB stuff, we do articles. We do live streams, aka live streams, 7 days a week for main slates. We got this little expert poll survey kind of thing we do that just to start your day off, just some of the key questions on a slate to ask some of our guys. I mean, it's just a phenomenal place. And one of the best features of the Wide State Nation is really the chat. It's the members themselves, man. You go into that chat, whether you're breaking down the slate, whether you're sweating with them, or you're just bullshitting about the day or the slate in general, man. It's just a phenomenal community. That's what we are. It's a community thing. So, if you needed anything else, like I said, man, the nation has just been hot, man. Just red hot calls everywhere. The whole team has just been on fire. It's just a great time to come check us out. So go check us out. If you want to try us out, $2.50 is all it takes to get 1 day of MLB access. $2.50 is all it costs. If you're going to play DFS and you're playing at least $10, you can't $2.50 just to try and see what it's all about. And this isn't about like obviously we give plays, we do this, we do our research, and we try to help you guys out. But we're trying to get you guys to understand different processes and thought process. We want you guys to come to these conclusions on your own and kind of be able to compare. Okay, I'm on the same page as this particular person. So that it's really about the skill. Like we want you to improve your actual skill. That's what it's really about. But anyway, Dong Watch time. We're gonna keep it real simple. We're gonna do first base, third base, and outfield. You can use FanDuel or DraftKings positions. We'll let you cheat a little bit. You just gotta specify if it's weird. But most of the positions are pretty similar. So. The question is, who gets to go?
Can it be from any of the games, or does it have to be one slate?
Main slate only. No. All day slate. Let's do that. Let's open things up a little bit. Let's open things up all day, because you know what? It's not fair to discriminate to the early slate, because the early slate's actually bigger. So, Johnny, since you asked the first question, you get to make the first pick. What's up, man?
All right, I'm not gonna take any of these popular guys, or I'm gonna give you all the sleepers today. How about that? Right. We're gonna make it even more difficult.
All right.
I'm gonna take Brian Goodwin tomorrow.
As your outfielder? Wow. You want to start with outfield?
Yeah. Outfielder.
He just said screw the rules.
I'm gonna give you some random ones, dude.
We said first base, third base, and outfielder. That'll count as your outfielder. We'll go backwards. Yeah. Outfielder first.
It has to be in order of that order. I thought that's cool. I thought you just wanted one from those positions.
Well, you didn't have to take him first. I don't think anybody was going to tell him to worry about anybody picking that dude.
No, but I want to take that shot.
Okay, it's cool. Cam, we'll keep it open.
You don't want to risk it.
Go ahead, Cam. Who you got, man?
Oh man, I don't know how I'm going to follow that up.
That's why I did it, dude. Make it tough for you, bro.
There are so many options.
There is, but I didn't want to take in the obvious ones. I mean, come on, they could have said Gary the Goat, catcher first base on FanDuel. Come on, that's like a gimme, but I didn't go there.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like doing that either. I'll try and find some for you guys. But holy crap, there's just so many options that you can choose from, especially on the all-day slate. I'm looking through first base right now. I like Matt Olson tomorrow against Doug Fister as a one-off at first.
That was the dude I was just looking at as well. I'll switch it over to Matt Carpenter against Chassin. Try to stick with the theme, I guess. So, Johnny, you have an outfielder already, so either a first baseman or a third baseman.
All right, I'm gonna go with Victor Martinez. I know on FanDuel he's won a catcher first base something, so I'm gonna take him against Danny Duffy tomorrow. He's gonna crush.
Well, again, you probably could have saved him for the last round. I don't think you were. I don't think that.
No, I know, but I told you I'm gonna.
I know.
I'm not gonna pick any popular guys, man.
I know. I'm just joking.
That's not the style.
Cam, what do you got, man? I think you got an outfielder and a third baseman left.
And you picked the first baseman too?
I did, yeah. I picked.
Yeah,
Carpenter.
I just picked a third baseman.
Yeah, he picked Victor Martinez.
So Johnny has a third baseman left, right?
Yeah.
Oh, some game theory
He's
action.
gonna pick some.
Some game.
He's
I'm
gonna
gonna pick a random dude.
So I'm gonna go with an outfielder. Let's see here. Give me some. Where am I gonna go with this? Holy crap! There are so many options.
A bunch.
Oh, there's Brian Goodwin. I was gonna take him.
I took him already.
He's obviously being sarcastic.
Come
bro.
on, dude, that's gold right there. That's fantasy gold. That's how we win tournaments, right there.
Oh man.
Victor Martinez and Goodwin winning a tournament for him.
Nick Castellanos.
Okay.
Boo.
Casting. I'll go with Travis Shaw against Seymour. With that.
Man, you guys take these easy plays. Come
I'm
on.
taking a guy against Carlos Martinez, a guy that strikes out like a. Just because
I'm so joking.
I still want the guys to hit a home run.
Victor Martinez.
He's gonna hit a home run tomorrow, dude. Bink, I'm telling you, dude. I'm playing him.
Watch him bink an infield fly, and it just goes out with those 25.
He's gonna Carlos Correa. And he's gonna hit a fucking inside the park home run tomorrow when he can't even run. I know.
I will naked.
Do you know, like,
definitely not.
Somebody has to break the like 3 outfielders have to break their leg for that man to get an inside the park home run. Three outfielders got to break their legs, their ankles, or something for that man to get around those bases like that. Maybe not even then. He probably still need to piggyback off somebody or some shit.
Then he would break his ankles, and then it would
Exactly.
Then it just would all
go to shit, and that's it. Johnny.
All right, so I'm gonna take this one. I saved this one for last because this is money in the bank right here.
Okay.
And none of you guys are gonna be on this play. And you're gonna probably boo me or shame me for making this play. But
Shame.
Pablo Sandoval.
Oh no.
Pablo Sandoval.
You are such a homer. Oh.
Double dog tomorrow. Double dog.
I'm gonna hang up.
I had to save it for last.
No way.
Oh, dude, have you seen him playing spring training?
Where is this dude? Like,
Pablo Sandoval is in the Giants.
What's his price? I mean, I can't find him in the player pool.
I don't know. It's quite free.
He's 1-9 on FanDuel.
I mean, he's not even projected to play.
No, he will. He's going to start for Longoria because it's platoon.
Okay.
Oh, that is electric.
His history though against fucking Felix Hernandez is amazing. Dude.
All right, man.
And he's got BVP, and he hits all his pitch types.
Back in 1995 when they were both.
He's like revived his career. He's had a really good spring training.
Yo, Cam,
he looked really good.
What you know?
I'm a Giants fan. Like I have the inside track here, bro. I watched him in spring training. He looked really good.
Cam, what you know about?
He lost weight.
What?
He's lost weight. He went back to switch hitting both hands. I'm telling you, like he's legitimately much better.
Okay.
He's out of the limelight. He's not into like the spotlight with Boston anymore. I'm telling you, dude, he's gonna hit home run. And don't be like, listen, don't be tweeting me tomorrow and say nice call, fucking after he hits 2 home runs and I take all the money. I'm gonna text you back or I'm gonna tweet you back and say I told you so. Anyways,
Cam, what do you know about 1995?
That. Step up, come on, Cam.
That was my question the whole time.
At least I'm making it entertaining for the viewers. Right?
I was just wondering, what does Cam know about 1995?
Yeah, you weren't even. Were you even? How old were you? Like 7?
I came out the womb in 90.
Yeah, fucking baby.
Awesome, Pablo Sandoval. Oh. Wow, Cam, you can better pick a good one after that one.
I don't know how I can follow these up, man. He's just
rolling
going low.
He is just rolling in that thing.
Come on, Spurs hit a 3-pointer right here. Oh man, this sweat is real. If we get into overtime, the sweat is real.
Get him. Get that OT, Johnny. Cam.
Need it.
Who's your play?
Let's just roll with Tim back on.
Oh, yeah, I like that call. I do like that call. I forgot all about that, dude. Oh, mad about that. I am mad about that. I will go with gotta look. I think I only have an outfielder left, I'm pretty sure. I'll go with Ian Desmond. I will go with Ian Desmond. Wow. Pablo Sandoval. You know that if that dude, if he either doesn't play...
He's got double dong. He's double dong.
What if, oh my God, he's double dong.
That is such a bold call.
That is bold. That is really bold. That's like...
This is what wins tournaments, dude.
Hey.
That is beyond bold.
Hey, man.
Stack it, dude. Listen, this isn't my cash game article, bro. Those guys won't be in my cash game article at all. But I will damn well play them in GPPs tomorrow.
All right. I'm excited, man. Like it was just like the process. Like Goodwin, I'm like, okay, and then the next guy, and then Pablo Sandoval. Wow. Pulling out the woodwork, he will be low owned, I can assure you that. But anyway.
Yes, he will be.
Johnny will be the only guy who owns him tomorrow.
Probably. I'm probably the only person that knew he was still in Major League Baseball.
Is he going to go double dong and steal a base tomorrow?
No, he can't run it, bro. He's not going to.
Bro, you said he's in shape now, man. He's in all this shape now, though. What happened?
But he could never run. I mean, they call him the Kung Fu Panda because he would, like, jump and kick over a home plate, but he can't run, bro. He can't slide.
Yo, I tell you what, bro. If he does double dong, if he hits a home run, if he even has a good game, he don't have to hit a home run. If he has a good game, I will. That was going to be the call of the year. But if he falls on his face, oh my God, that was a big time speech, man. That was a big time passionate speech for a dude like that. So you're putting your nuts on the table.
He's not gonna let me down tomorrow. He's got me.
He's got it. You're putting your nuts on the table. I respect it.
Hey, you know what the funny thing is? Here's the funny thing, right before lineups lock and shit. He hits the DL.
Yeah, watch. Yeah. Well, that'll be your out right there. That would be your out. If I was you,
dude.
If I was you, I'd be hoping.
Stick with it, bro.
Please go on the DL tomorrow.
It's an MLB. The only way you're gonna win an MLB, man, is if you make a bold call and you make a bold prediction. And it is GPPs. You know, like I live off my cash games in baseball, but I play the GPPs to try to win. So
if you want
it is what it is.
Bold call, just stack the Padres and the A's every day. I don't think you gotta go that low, man. Man, we'll see. I'm gonna be watching for sure. Anyway, Nation, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up. That like button means a lot to us. Really helps us out. Subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on Podbean, give us a follow. If you're listening on Facebook, give us some 5-star reviews. If you're, of course, watching us on Twitch, that's a new thing. If you're on Twitch, give us a follow. Do whatever the hell you're supposed to do on Twitch because we're still working on that. Anyway, some closing thoughts. Cam, what you got?
Yeah, tomorrow will be fun. You start off with the early slate. You can play that, and then on the main slate, you can watch Brian Goodwin and Pablo Sandoval just tear it up.
Hey, don't leave Victor Martinez out.
Victor Martinez with the inside the park home run.
And then Brandon Geyer. I told you, those are like guys tomorrow.
We're going to swipe some bags tomorrow with Victor Martinez and Pablo Sandoval.
Oh, there you go.
They ain't stealing no bags, but they're hitting bombs.
I'm going to take that as, you know what? I'm just going to take that as your closing thoughts. So, for KamG333, for Johnny the Greek, myself, the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Yeah.